Savior, the mercy of our God, the cross that leaves no question of the measure of His love. Our chains are gone, our debt is paid, the cross has overthrown the grave. For Jesus' blood that sets us free means death to death and life for me. The innocent judge guilty, while the guilty one walks free. Death would be his portion, and our portion liberty. Our chains are gone, our debt is paid, the cross has overthrown the grave. For Jesus' blood that sets us free means death to death and life for me. I give my whole life to honor this love. By the Lamb who was slain, I'm forgiven. The sinner's Savior, crowned Him forever. For the Lamb who was slain, He is risen. I give my whole life to honor this love. By the Lamb who was slain, I'm forgiven. The sinner's Savior, crowned Him forever. For the Lamb who was slain, He is risen. Our chains are gone, our debt is paid, the cross has overthrown the grave. For Jesus' blood that sets us free means death to death and life for me. Means death to death and life for me.
I hear the Savior say, thy strength indeed is small. Child of weakness, watch and pray. Find in me thine all in all. Lord, now indeed I find thy power and thine alone can white as snow. And when before the throne I stand in Him complete, Jesus died my soul to save. My lips shall still repeat, Jesus paid it all to Him I owe. Sin had left a crimson stain, He washed it white as snow. Oh, praise the one who paid my debt and raised His life up from the dead. Oh, praise the one who paid my debt and raised His life up from the dead. Oh, praise the one who paid my debt and raised His life up from the dead. Oh, praise the one who paid my debt and raised His life up from the dead. Oh, Jesus, you're the one. Oh, Jesus, 'cause you're the one, King and Kings. You gave your life just for me. Jesus paid it all to Him I owe. Sin had left a crimson stain, He washed it white as snow.
Gilbert Campus, thank you so much for being with us on this Good Friday service. It says in John chapter 1, verses 4 through 5, in Him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. The darkness has not overcome it. As we think about what this means, we think about what it means in this moment, we live in a time in which there's right and wrong, win or lose, up or down. And I want us to wrestle with one simple statement. As we think about what this means, God is not supposed to lose. You think about this light overcoming the darkness, He's not supposed to lose. So how do we come to grips and how do we come to realize what happened on this horrible, horrific event? Jesus Christ is on the cross. He dies for our sin. God is not supposed to lose. But now we find ourselves in a really difficult situation. How do we explain it? Because we think about what God is and who He is and how we describe Him. We describe Him with wonderful words. He's omniscient, all-knowing. He's omnipresent. He's everywhere. He's omnipotent. He's powerful. Those kind of things are so important for us because we don't have loss or losing when describing God. He's not supposed to lose. The creator of life, the creator of the universe, the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end is not supposed to lose. But here we are in a moment such as this, in which we now see light being overcome by darkness. Light is now in a situation where it's being snuffed out by the darkness. So how do we explain what goes on in the Garden of Gethsemane? When the disciples are all around Jesus and they are told what's going to happen by Jesus. They are told what's going to occur. And they fall asleep. And Jesus responds by saying all kinds of things. And He starts by saying, keep watch. Watch out for what? What's about to happen in the Garden of Gethsemane? What was He trying for His disciples to understand what was going on? He says this, my soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Disciples sleep. Soldiers arrive. They approach Jesus as he's praying, and they seize him. They ask him a question, and he says a really important response. I am. When asked, are you Jesus? He says, I am he. Now, I am, those words that Jesus has spoken many times in his teaching. Before Abraham, I am. I am the good shepherd. I am the door to the sheepfold. I am the vine. I am the bread of life. I am the vine. I am the way. I am the truth. And I am the life. I am the light of the world. I am he, is what Jesus conveys. The Son of Man is delivered into the hands of sinners. Now he is seized. Now he is taken by a mob, and the mob is upset. The mob wants to do harm to Jesus. The mob overtakes. He's betrayed by, even this betrayal is so intriguing, betrayed by a kiss. What an incredible moment in history that's going on. Jesus of Nazareth, I am he. His faithful disciples, they scatter. Nowhere to be found. Now we have this Jesus with no resistance. And one of the disciples named Peter tries to resist, pulls out a sword and strikes a soldier, and he's rebuked by Jesus. Jesus chooses something that we can't miss. Jesus chooses to be silent. See, God's not supposed to lose. God's not supposed to lose to mobs. God's not supposed to find himself overwhelmed in a situation where he's taken by people who want to do him harm. And now the truth and the life is being led away and put on trial. So how do you put truth on trial? How do you put truth on trial? How do you do this as you see the accusations and the things that were false and things that were not real, things that were not factual, but accusations that were so unreasonable, accusations that didn't make any sense, that even contradicted. Jesus, when he's asked, will you not answer? Will you not? What do you have to answer for yourself, rather, Jesus, for all these charges against you? And he says nothing. But he does answer one of the key questions. When he's asked, are you the Messiah? Jesus says, I am. There it is again. The light of the world. I am the way and I am the truth, is Jesus' response. I am the light of the world. I am the resurrection and the life. I am. With those two words, the high priest begins to completely lose it. He yells blasphemy. He loses and gets so upset. He even says in the scripture that he tore his own clothes. He found himself in a situation where now he spit on him. They blindfolded him. They said, prophesy who hit you. They began to mock Jesus. Jesus was taken before Pilate. Pilate was a man of power, Roman power, the power to kill, the power to crucify. And now he's face to face with the truth. And he doesn't realize who he's facing. He doesn't see the truth. In fact, Jesus still remains silent. And we think about this. Why does truth remain silent? Why the lies? Why the false accusation? Speak, Jesus. Speak. Pilate would not remain silent because it says, what is truth? Pilate asked Jesus. Pilate asked a question to the ultimate truth of the universe. What is truth? Pilate would not remain silent. He stood face to face with him, and the crowd would not remain silent. In fact, the crowd began to say, crucify him, crucify him. And now Jesus Christ, why would he remain silent? Doesn't truth drown out deception? Speak, Jesus, speak. God is not supposed to lose. Then why is the truth being led to the crucifixion? Or is that love? Is that love that is being led and handed over to be crucified? This is a very definition of love. To be beaten, to be flogged, to be ridiculed, to endure all of it. This is the ultimate expression of love. But God is not supposed to lose. God is not supposed to lose. Maybe love is too soft. A man who claims love could never be a king. I mean, think about what we see a king as. We see a king as powerful. We see the king as influential. We see the king of being able to make things happen. But this kings aren't supposed to lose. And now we see that a king needs a crown of 3-inch thorns placed on his head. A king needs a royal clothing to denote his status, a purple robe instantly streaked with blood. He's given a scepter and he's given an indigo, and they took the scepter from him and began to hit him with that very thing. They ridiculed him. Jesus is not supposed to lose. Hail the King of the Jews. A king displays strength, not love. A king gives orders. A king doesn't lose. A king doesn't carry his own cross. But this king does. This king carries the cross. This king carries the cross, and he says, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves, take up their cross daily, and follow after me. This is what love looks like. It's what it looks like to love others. Our king carries his cross to the place of the skull, Golgotha, to be crucified among thieves. 3 nails pounded through his hands and feet. Love is hung on a cross for the world to see. God is not supposed to lose. Jesus is silent. Others are not. They say, save yourself. Why are you allowing this to happen? If you are the King of the Jews, then do this. Save yourself. God is not supposed to lose. He trusts in God. Let God save him, they say. God is not supposed to lose. He said he was the Son of God. God is not supposed to lose. Isn't his presence on the cross a sign of what was wrong? In this 6th hour, darkness covers the land. God is losing, and Jesus is no longer silent. He says these incredible words, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. We have no idea what we are doing, what we have done. And then he continues to say even deeper words. He says, my God, why have you forsaken me? God is losing. And then he says something that is so incredible for us to think about. Where is God? What did he do wrong? He says this, it is finished. It's over. God is lost. Creation is disrupted. A storm like no other overtakes the land. Incredible things begin to happen. The light of the world goes out. Darkness overtakes the sun. The earth shakes. The curtain in the temple that separated God from his people is torn in half. Omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent. Did he know where he was? Did he know what was happening? Where's his power now? The creator of life is not supposed to lose. He's not supposed to lose his life. Darkness is not supposed to overcome light. He lost. We lost. The light was shining, but the light has been put out. Truth spoke, but when the accused of truth, he remained silent. This incredible moment in history changed everything. Everything that we thought was going to happen, everything that we believed to occur, everything that we understood about power, everything we understood about hope, everything we understood about what it means to give your life is now on display. And it changed everything. See, we understand power in a different context. We understand power in a different perspective. We believe power is about influence and control, but power like this changes everything. Did God lose? Did we lose? What happened on this Good Friday was good news for us. Could it be the cross has the final word? Could it be the cross has the final word for us? I want to read to you in closing a very powerful part of a famous sermon by S.M. Lockridge. And it's so encouraging in moments like this, but yet so reflective for what it means to follow after Christ and what this evening means for us. It's Friday. He's hanging on the cross, feeling forsaken by his Father, left alone and dying. Can nobody save him? Oh, it's Friday, but Sunday's coming. It's Friday, the earth trembles, the sky grows dark. My King yields his spirit. It's Friday. Hope is lost. Death is won. Sin has conquered. And Satan's just a-laughing. It's Friday. Jesus is buried. Soldiers stand guard. And a rock is rolled into place. But it's Friday. It's only Friday. And Sunday is coming. Could it be the cross has the final word? Could it be the cross has the final word? Could it be that we did not lose, but rather we were given victory for what happened? See, our adversary thought he won, but he was mistaken. Our adversary thought that all was lost, but then we realized the bigger story. You and I were there. We were there in this moment. We were there in that moment. We're here to hear about the hope of what Jesus did. His gesture of what he did for us on that cross changed everything, and it gave us victory. The cross, the final word.
The cross has the final word. The cross has the final word. Sorrow may come in the darkest night. The cross has the final word. The cross has the final word. The cross has the final word. Evil may put up its strongest fight, but the cross has the final word. The cross has the final word. The cross has the final word. Sorrow may come in the darkest night, but the cross has the final word. The cross has the final word. The cross has the final word. Evil may put up its strongest fight, but the cross has the final word.